Do you want to build the business of your dreams? Well, in this video, I want to talk about how you can build your forever business. Let's get it going. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Greg Hickman here with Alt Agency at altagency.com. And I want to talk about building your forever business. Now, I was just having a conversation with a former mentor of mine, just catching up. It's been about a year since we really spoke. He actually took me and walked me through an exercise that he has been teaching that I'm going to kind of high level share with you today. Shout out to Brad Martin out from 6th Division. Hopefully I do this high level justice, but this is how I interpreted what he shared. And I want to talk about building your forever business. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because I can't watch a YouTube video without being promised 10 to 15 sales appointments a day, or I just heard someone will schedule 11,000 appointments a month for me, which means I would die, my team would die. I don't know why that sounds appealing at all, but nonetheless, there's a lot of promises out there for what I think other people deem your dream business should be. And honestly, I fell into the trap before of just designing my business based on what other people told me, because I didn't spend the time to think about what I actually wanted. So I'm challenging you today to decide what your dream business actually looks like. I'm going to walk you through a framework to help get some ideas flowing so that you can start to think about this for yourself. Now, if you're new to this channel, I would greatly appreciate you subscribing to this channel and clicking the notification bell, because we release a new video every single Thursday. And if this one hits home for you and you know another fellow entrepreneur that needs to watch this, please go ahead and share this video with them. All right, so how do we build our forever business, our dream business? Well, first, I think we need to understand the real question that we should be asking ourselves. And when my mentor Brad mentioned this to me, it kind of like struck me a different way. It hits different, if you know what I'm talking about. And so the question was, what actually has to be true in this business for it to be worth it? Like, why are we in this game? Like, what does this business need to give me? I've talked about on this channel before what we need to give the business. The business has demands of you as the owner, and vice versa, you are going to have demands of the business. And I find that a lot of times those two things are not in alignment. If you've designed this business a certain way, it's going to demand certain things of you that you might not want to do because you designed it based off of someone else's goal or off of someone else's vision. So if that's where you're at and you're still feeling resistance, you really need to ask yourself what actually has to be true in this business for it to be worth it. And so we're going to look at this through the lens of three different currencies: time, energy, and money. And I think what was interesting here is that it first has to be practical, right? You can say, I want a lot of different things, but if it's really not practical for where you're at right now, it actually is a dream versus a dream that can become a reality. And what I want for you is what can become a reality. And what I've found is that when we go through the lenses of time, energy, and money, what you're going to find, and I have myself, is that your business might already be giving you a lot of the things you're looking for. Thus, you need to get further clarity on what this business needs to do for you, at least moving forward. And then the other thing that he mentioned was, can you do this business for the next 20 plus years? Like, what needs to be true in this business for you to be able to say, if it's hitting these minimums, I'm good. Like, I can ride this thing for 20 to 30 years. I know a lot of people talk about building a business to sell. I think you should design and build your business so that it is sellable. But the number of businesses that actually sell for a worthwhile amount of money is like less than 1%, especially service businesses, especially agencies. And the hassle, like a lot of the things that you're going to need to do to sell it for top dollar, you haven't done yet, like systemizing, having recurring revenue, removed yourself as the owner, that the effort to get those things in place isn't going to be worth all of the effort, so you're going to sell it for less anyway. So I want you to start thinking of, if I had to build a business that I could live with and run with for the next 20 to 30 years, at a minimum, what does it need to do for me? So that's where we need to ask ourselves, like, if it does the following, which we're going to come down here and start working through it. So you can just take, a piece of paper and divide it like this, but we're going to look at first time. So from time perspective, what does your schedule need to look like? How many hours a week are you working? What hours of the day do you work? Do you want to be able to take 4 international trips a year with your family? Do you want to be able to do quarterly date nights? Do you want to be able to take Fridays off to go mountain biking? Like, what does your schedule look like when you're working inside and on your business? Understanding those goals and desires from your business is going to allow you to structure things and your boundaries and your schedule and how you plan and what you say yes to and what you say no to a whole lot more. So I want you to look at, vacations. I want you to look at, fun, hours per week, month, days per week? Do you want to take, like I said, every Friday off? And you got to list those out. Then we hop on over to here and you need to write why. Why does my business need to afford me this schedule? Because I want to have a healthy marriage, and me going and doing a one-night getaway with just my wife, no kids, is going to be really healthy for us to kind of plan our vision as a family. Us getting on these at least 2 international trips a year is going to allow our kids to see the world and experience places that we've been so that they're more cultured. I want to take Fridays off because I want to be able to mountain bike, because I know that I want to be healthy and, be able to play with my kids at a certain age, and that's my favorite form of activity, and it helps clear my head. Like, we need to understand why this schedule is important to us and why that's going to be the way we operate. Next, we want to look at our energy, and you want to look at the amount of energy that you put into your current role. So what are all the things that you want to be doing, right? Like, I want to be doing more of this. Like, I love creating these videos. I want to create more videos like this. I love creating playbooks and content and training for our clients. I want to do more of that. And then what are things that you don't want as your role, right? What are the things that you want to do less of? Maybe you don't like doing the sales calls. Maybe you don't want to do the interviews for hiring, whatever that looks like. We need to understand, where is your energy being spent inside the business? So we want to look at your role, and then the things that need to happen in the business that are not your role, because that's going to help you identify who you might need. And then again, we hop on over here, and we need to make sure that we understand why. Why do I want to spend my time in these areas? Why do I want, to not waste my energy on the sales calls or the creation of content or the bookkeeping or the admin, whatever that is for you? You need to understand how much energy are you going to be spending. If we know how much time we're spending on the business, well, within that time, we need to exert a certain amount of energy and production to move the business forward and to keep things running. So we need to look at what you want your role to be, and then the things that are not your role, aka other people that you might need to hire. Next, we need to look at the money. So what does this business need to give me annually in income? Now, the key here, I think, is to look at the minimum, aka the floor, and ask yourself questions like this. Like, if you said 1 million, again, we got to come over here to the why section. Why 1 million? Like, why not 800,000 or 850,000? So if you find yourself, saying, I want this random number that someone else had alluded to, like, I want a $10 million business, or I want to be in the 2 comma club. Like, what does that mean to you and why? And then ask yourself, what does it give you that the other number won't? Like, if you're sitting here saying, I want to make 2 million, well, what does a $2 million business end up giving you that a $1 million business does not? And understanding that, because from what I've learned from the entrepreneurs that I know that are doing like 10 million, most of them say, like, once you're at like 2 to 3 million, like, you can pretty much live the same lifestyle that you would be living if your business was doing 10, and you'd have a whole lot less headache. So, like, why 10? If 10 is the number, that's totally cool. I don't care what your goal is, but I want you to understand why it's 10, and then understand that, okay, well, maybe if I could have all of the same things that I could ride out for the next 20 to 30 years, if I'm just doing $800,000 a year, why not just go for 800 versus trying to get to this 10? Whether it's all ego or whatever the reason, again, I don't care. You just need to understand why that is important to you. Hence this one section over here that I think a lot of people often don't look at. Why do we want these things? And then, the rest, outside of time, money, and energy, you need to look at, like, what else is there. You want to look at maybe specific things to your health, relationships, things that aren't getting covered in these 3 buckets up here. We can kind of lump it into there. And again, for each bullet, I'd come over to the why section and ask yourself, well, why does the business need to do this for me? So a refresher real fast, if you've lost me, is you want to build the business of your dreams. You need to know what actually has to be true in this business for it to be worth it. And so we're going to look at that through the 3 different currencies: time, energy, and money, making sure that it's practical, and that this is something that I would love to be operating if my time, energy, money, and the rest all fell into this perfect little box. Right? I was working 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. I was able to make X income and do all these things that you just put in this side of the bucket. And you could do that for the next 20 years. Are you good? Because when you can fill this out and you're making decisions as to, should I do this or should I do that? Should I capitalize on this opportunity? Should I say yes to this thing or no to this thing? We can always come back and look at this and say, look, the business that I want, my dream business, my forever business, gives me these things. If I say yes to this opportunity, do I still live and operate through the lens of I still get all of this? If I say yes to this opportunity, do I still get all of my time goals? Do I still hit all the boxes in my energy? Do I still hit all the income goals and money that I set out for myself? If so, then you probably would want to say yes. If not, you now have an anchor to help you make better decisions inside of your business. So I hope you enjoyed this exercise. I want to know what your biggest takeaway is in the comment section below. If you like trainings like this and you're not subscribed, again, go ahead and do that. We also have a free Facebook group. I'll put the link in the description below, where we do stuff like this all the time with agency owners, consultancies, freelancers that want to build a business that is designed to serve you and not the other way around. So I hope you enjoyed, and we'll catch you in the next video.